Well, let's get right into it. So, what to start with? As you can see, I have a multitude of amazing stones in my collection. Some of them very rare, and some of them just unique. So, I'm sure you guys are wondering, what the heck is this giant hulk of rock in the middle of here? Well, this here is my largest agate in my collection, and a very beautiful stone at that. As you can see, it has many different colors and features in it, and it is a very rare stone. I found this in Arizona on a rock hounding trip. This is a mix of, I believe, fire agate and crazy lace agate. Very interesting stone. Very cool. Now, I'm going to adjust the lamp here so you guys can see stuff a little bit better. So I can get it. There we go. Let's get the light right on the camera. Now, it will be prime viewing quality. Alright, so let's see. What next? This here is a very interesting rock in my collection. As you can see, it's not the absolute unit of this beast right here, but it does have a very, very deep red color and amazing bands. Very, very cool stone. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, I went to Arizona, and I've talked about fire agates. I'm sure you're wondering, do I actually have any very colorful fire agates? Well, the answer to that question would be, of course. Here is one of my best specimens of fire agates. As you can see, it has many amazing colors, and it is a very beautiful stone. I was very lucky to find this, as the place where I looked had been picked through a little bit. You could tell other people had been there, but I still found some beauties. Here's another smaller stone, but as you can see as well, this also has very, very amazing colors. Very interesting stone there. Here's one of my favorite stones from the fire agate collection, because it's just so crazy. I mean, this thing is off the wall crazy. Look at all the different patterns and bubbles everywhere in the stone. Very, very cool. You can see this little jut out right here. It's pretty crazy. Now, this one doesn't have any interesting features, but I thought I'd include it for the very deep color. And if you look closely, you can see a little bit of iridescence, which is what fire agates are famous for. Here's another specimen. This one's very interesting because it shows the fire agate in its host rock. Very cool. And here's another big boy. You can see there's a bit of druzy quartz crystals right in here, and some chalcedony. Very cool. We also have this interesting stone. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but this has a mix of chalcedony crystals, which are botryoidal crystals. I really enjoy those. And some terminated quartz crystals in there. If you see the flat surfaces with the shiny parts, those are the quartz crystals. And right here are the chalcedony crystals. Very interesting mix of the two stones. Alright, let's see. Here's another great example of the stone in its native host rock. Very cool. And here is the last stone from the fire agate collection that I could find, because my rocks are pretty disorganized as I have so many of them. Here we have a very interesting fire agate. It has some very cool colors and very interesting. Now, this here is my largest Lake Superior agate I've ever found. And in fact, I found it only 20 miles away from my house, at a very good spot that happened to just be a random construction site. But it seemed like the site itself was blessed, because I kept finding great stuff there, including this rock. You can see a very interesting part here. Very cool colors. Here is another stone in my collection. Very interesting. Quartz bands around an inclusion of solid red agate in the middle. Very, very cool. On the back you can see some harder formations in this little crater. Very cool. One of my favorite things about agates are the little dimples and craters. I just love how those things looked. Look at this one here. You can see the dimples much more prevalently on the surface of this rock, and it is a very, very interesting stone. It looks like someone took a tool and punched a hole in here. This one doesn't have much for interesting bands, but it definitely has interesting color and shape. Now, if you watched my last video, you'll remember this rock. Found this in the local spot. Very interesting agate nodules in here. Very cool. Here's a very interesting specimen, which has many colors in it. You know what? If you guys are going to be seeing my agate collection, I think you deserve to be seeing them in the most beautiful way. So I'm going to go get a cup of water. All right, we got our cup of water here and we are ready to show the agates. The reason I wanted to get that cup of water is because this agate doesn't really look that crazy when it's not wet. But let me tell you, it has some very, very interesting features when it is. Look at those colors and all the little squiggly bands in there. When I first found this agate, I thought it was just a fractured piece of agate. But I later realized that it was a beautiful and very unique stone. Very, very cool. Here's another agate in my collection. Kind of a solid red shell again. Very interesting though. All right. Well, let's get the next one. We also have this chunk of an agate. You can see it has some very interesting banding patterns and is a very cool stone, which is not actually very noticeable at first, but once you take a good look, it's very cool. Alright, here will be the last stone for the large agates that I am aware of the presence of. As you can see, this one is not as easily to spot on the outer surface, but I'm sure I could see the inside if I cut it open. As you can see, some of these rocks do get slippery as they're round and I put water on them. Alright, now we will go to the medium-sized agates. Let's take a look at our first find. This is a very interesting agate. I found this at another secret spot. Very cool. Let's see. What do we have in this bag? Alright. This is very cool. You can see a lot of areas where there's chert on this agate and a decent amount of quartz. It's a very interesting and unique formation. Alright, let's take a look at the next find. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. Look at that beautiful agate right there. All the bands, all the colors, amazing. Put that back over there. I just remembered that I have a very interesting one over here. Let's get it. Alright, we are back. Now, prepare your eyes for this beauty. Look at that. Beautiful, bright white banding and a blue background. That is a very nice agate. Let's take a look at this in the bag. All right. This one is also a very nice agate. As you can see, a lot of interesting colors and banding. Very cool. We're going to take a quick detour here and go over to the smaller collection over here, because there is one in particular that is very interesting. Let's see if I can actually find it here. All right. Well, I couldn't find it, sadly. Sorry about that tease. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. Take a look at this. Now, look at that. Amazing banding. Beautiful red color. This is one of my best specimens for sure. Very interesting. Another one here. Look at that. Another great agate with great banding. Very, very cool. Let's take a look at this interesting one. Not much banding, but very interesting color. And look at that, folks. I found a lemon drop in my rock bag. Tasty. Very interesting one here as well. Let's go grab another bag back here. Ooh. Look at that beautiful agate. Amazing colors. Nice banding in there. Very cool stone. All right. Let's grab another from the bag. This is another great rock. Amazing banding too. I'm sure you guys are pretty tired of another agate after another, so here's a very interesting one. This one has nice bands, but as well you can see it has a little bit of a quartz crystal plate on top, which I believe to be smoky quartz. Very cool. This one is very interesting, because as you can see, it has really nice banding. This is one of the first agates I found, and believe it or not, it wasn't actually out in a spot. It was in a friend's landscape rock, and he let me take it home. How nice of him. All right, what else shall we look at? Here we go, I found a nice interesting one here. Couple actually. Get them wet. Here we have another really dark, nice dark red agate. Very interesting stone. Now we're going to move on to another one which has very interesting colors. You can see this one actually has a little bit of brown and yellow in it. I think personally that this one looks like sand dunes if you look at it from a certain angle. Very cool. Let's see. What shall we take a look at next? This one is very interesting because you see it has very weird patterns in there. Very interesting bands and inclusions of different minerals. Very cool. This one here is one of my personal favorites because of its very strange appearance and interesting colors. Alright, well, you guys know that I can't show you my entire collection in one video, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here, and hopefully you enjoyed seeing very interesting agates and very interesting formations. If there's enough subscriptions on this video, I will do a part 2 and 3. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and let me know what I could be doing in the comments.